Welcome back to ESL 1 and to the live studios here in Cologne, heart of ESL, of course, for ESL 1 Spring Championship for Battlefield 4. We have just 3 teams remaining now in our championship, and it's time for our second of our semi-finals to find out who goes through to be beaten by Fnatic.
I feel bad saying that now.
How else can we do it? I know,
looking at me. Don't say it now.
But what else can we say? They've been so dominant.
Lie, parlously,
lie. They were awful in that last match against
really
Dignitas.
Bad. Off-form.
Terrible.
What
They're
was
never going to
doing?
win anything.
Nowhere near to it.
Seriously, though, good talk, by the way. I like that. It's good stuff with Chasm. Very nice. Second semi-final on the way. These two teams battled it out. PyRoGEN, brilliant last season. We saw what they can do. Epsilon have had a rocky road through to the semi-finals, but they at least have made it that far. I'm not convinced that they're going to be satisfied. That they need the final right now. And I guess in some ways it's kind of poetic if we see Epsilon move through, because then we have Epsilon versus Fnatic, which we've had 3 out of the 4 finals in the regular season. But take nothing away from PyRoGEN. They were absolutely fine yesterday.
Well, let's look at it this way as well. PyRoGEN are the team that sent Fnatic home in the last finals. So either way we have this coming through, it's going to be good. But I don't know what to say about these two teams. I don't think we've yet to see Epsilon. That's all I can say in this. It's been glimpses of something, but it's not been the Epsilon who's dominant. And PyRoGEN, they look pretty good, as you said.
Okay. PyRoGEN themselves yesterday, a little bit scrappy with ESC, and but then when you look at ESC's results and how tight all of their maps were, not just their games, their maps.
Yes.
Actually, they put that into context. That's actually quite a good result in the end. The trouble is that they then played their second match and absolutely destroyed, and then you think, well, okay, maybe PyRoGEN are that good after all. I mean, and it's weird for them. I asked Ikaho yesterday, is it different this season? Because last season they came in as the 16th team in the league. They were barely scraping through. We didn't expect them to get through the groups. Then they made the LAN finals. No one expected them to get out of the groups. And they went on to the final and only lost narrowly to NYN 3-2. They had no pressure last season. This season, they are definitely one of the top 4 teams. They have been in the league. They have been through the cups. They have been in the groups. And they've proved that one of the top 4 teams by making the semi-finals. So how do you think the pressure affects them?
Well, it's not only the pressure, it's not only the mental state. It's the fact the other teams will now prepare for you. Last time, it's PyRoGEN, they're all right. You know, they started to build up a little bit, but you never go, let's spend 4 hours looking at the VODs back. This time, I'm pretty sure every single team kept them in mind. There's no way you'd underestimate them now. That's the big difference. Yes, pressure is now a factor, but then you look at Fnatic, they've got pressure as well, but they've just kind of taken it in their stride. I think PyRoGEN will be the same in that aspect, but it's more the opponent's awareness of how they play now.
Okay, key players for both teams. Who do you pick out?
Jesus Christ. It's a hard one. You know, there's been so many standout players, and it's so hit and miss between the teams. Benny's been great on occasion. A couple of other players have stepped up. Ikaho's had his moments, but it's from map to map, from 1v1 to 1v1. It can't be called right now. It's down to the teams wanting this more than the other. We've seen Epsilon having glimmers of brilliance, but no extended period, so I don't know there.
Which one do you think is hungrier? Because you said it comes down to who wants it more. Who's hungrier, in your opinion, when you look at them?
I think Epsilon have now 2 ways of looking at it. They can either be a team go, all right, we've not had the good run. We've had the hardest road here on our performance, and it's only ourselves to blame. Let's prove we deserve this and, you know, really step up to the marker. Or they can do it and go, let's hope we can get there. Whereas PyRoGEN can do the same. So it's very easy, but I think Epsilon, hopefully they have that right mentality of let's prove it.
Okay, they've, as you said, they've had their hard runs and their hard knocks, suffer with some server crashes and what have you. They've been the only team, unfortunately, to suffer from those. It seems very odd. Mentally, do you think they're stronger today? Did they cope better with those server crashes in that game today?
Results-wise, yes. Close game, obviously, but they did come out on top and they did look a lot better. They looked less stressed out. The comms we heard in there sounded quite calm. They sounded very clinical. Okay, you know, we do this, we do this, we do this. Perfect. And that's what you want. You want to be coming into this and people going, oh, they're not performing well. And actually, semi-finals come around, grand final comes around, they're on point. So if they can look at it from that aspect, they're in good shape, and hopefully they have that attitude right.
All right, thank you very much, Lauren. Last season, we saw PyRoGEN reach the semi-finals in a real shock, and they then took on Fnatic, who were the dominant force through the regular season, and they took them out. This season, we've seen Epsilon as the dominant force through the regular season. They now meet PyRoGEN in the semi-finals. Is history about to repeat itself yet again? Let's find out in our second semi-final who goes on to play Fnatic.
Thank you for that, Red Eye and Pans. And yeah, we're going to find out PyRoGEN, can they get a repeat performance that they had last season? Can they advance to the finals to where Fnatic will be up against head-to-head? And I don't know why you're looking at my paper for some reason. But anyways, while I write down what you're looking for, why don't you tell us about your thoughts on this match?
This is going to be a really close one because Epsilon haven't been looking very good recently. They got a bit of shaky games with Planet Key, but then again, so has PyRoGEN. PyRoGEN really suffered what would be a surprising game, I would say, with BSC. They struggled. Everyone expected them to just smash them, and it was really close fall.
Yeah, they struggled very, very heavily. But then again, I mean, they didn't have a problem at all later on. It's just kind of how the cookie's crumbling right now. I mean, you saw PyRoGEN versus Dignitas. It was close in the first map, yeah, 25 tickets, but they destroyed my locker.
Yeah, no, definitely. And, you know, they're a team that's done remarkably well on locker in the past. And in some interesting map picks here, Paracel Storm for Epsilon, a map that they've done particularly well in the past with, but sometimes really, really shaky. And I've got a feeling locker might be the pick here, but then again, they're quite confident on Zaphod. And there you go, it's going to be Locker with Zaphod the third. So if this goes to a third map, I do kind of favor Pyro here, but we'll have to wait and see. Map picks do make big impacts in these games sometimes. Actually, I think especially in the Dig game just there, Paracel Storm has been a map that Fnatic have done amazingly well on in the past. And, you know, Dig thought they had it hammered out, but they got proven wrong. And you know, it's a rude awakening sometimes when you think you have a map hammered out and it goes horrifically wrong.
True. And I'm actually looking at the past results from Epsilon on Storm, and they actually beat Infamous with 80 tickets.
Yeah.
So definitely one of their stronger maps, but I feel like PyRoGEN is a different beast than Infamous is, and obviously going to be a much tougher opponent for them. But, you know, they made it this far with all the troubles they've had. I think they very well could do it, but if you were to put your money on one team, if you were to, you know, obviously try to get that headset and that mouse, what would you put it on?
I think the safe bet would be Pyro right now. I think Epsilon have had struggles in the time. They don't take pressure too well, and this is a lot of pressure.
That's true. Like you said, if you push them hard enough, they'll shatter, and pressure is definitely one of the things that can add to it. And we always like to hear what you guys, you know, think at home as well, who you voted for in this one. And obviously, as you can see, PyRoGEN 62% to the 38%. You obviously can head over to battlefield.esl-1.com if you want to try to vote over there. And, you know, I'm agreeing with you. PyRoGEN, I think they can do it. They've proved to be very strong. To me, they haven't looked like the dominating team that we saw necessarily back in the last season when we got to this point, but every team's gotten better since then. So it's not like you can continue to power up to this point where you can stomp even the best teams. I mean, only Fnatic's the one, I guess, to really do it so far, but I don't know if they can do it to the best team out of this side.
Yeah, definitely. And Pyro's a weird team for me in a way. They have some amazingly good, well-rounded players. And I think if there's one thing about Pyro I like, it's how well-rounded they are. Epsilon kind of have the same, and that reflects it more in their playstyle, but they do like to just let Duke PT run wild sometimes. But I've seen some quite impressive plays. But one thing about PyRoGEN, and it's going to be, I think, a loss for them was when they lost Monstro. He was a big part of that team, and he was one of the cornerstones of their success at the last LAN. With him being replaced, you know, it's still the same team in majority of its player, but you know that might have hurt them a little bit there.
Yeah, very true. And obviously, you know, PyRoGEN, they're fighting for their chance to get back to the finals here, and you know I want to say, well, two things. I want to say that they were very happy with their result, you know, getting that far, but they were also very disappointed that they didn't win, because if you think back to those games, that was a close match.
Yeah, it was indeed. And
Meechmakers barely won. I mean, every single map was close. It wasn't a landslide in any single one of them. And you know, now they have their chance to redeem themselves a little bit.
Well, I think for PyRoGEN, they feel that they need to get into the final to prove that they could have won the last one. And last time, best of 5. And the 2 maps that did go Pyro's way went over in landslides. Langsam Dam was the first map, and it was almost over 100 tickets that Pyro took it with. Then when they got the 3rd map, not sure which one it was. It might have been something like a Dawnbreaker, or no, it might have been Railway. I'm not sure. It's a long time ago.
It was.
And it was another big win for them. And it's something which PyRoGEN can't do. But when the game is really tough, you know, they hang around, they do stick into it, but sometimes, you know, that endurance will pay off. And I got a feeling that if we're looking at who can endure more here, it's most definitely PyRoGEN.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a perfect way to put it, because like we said before, you know, we saw Epsilon yesterday. They had, unfortunately, the server crashed on them, and they just kind of got down themselves. They completely just crashed and burned from that one. And, you know, it's kind of... It's interesting to me to see that a team can be affected in that way. Obviously, you know, I've experienced it in you know, many different games and even in casting, to be honest, where you just kind of get on tilt and you can't seem to recover from that. But when you're at this stage in the game, you can't let that happen here. And, you know, PyRoGEN, to me, they're kind of not more of a team based on emotions like I feel like Epsilon is. And emotions can always drive a team to be excellent. You know, if you think about Dignitas earlier on, you know, while they were getting pumped up against Meteor Makers, definitely helped them succeed. And when he was quiet versus Fnatic, it obviously didn't make them lose, but it was one of the, you know, things that really hurts your team when you don't have that captain to be there, you know, screaming for your entire lineup. But looks like we will be getting underway here in just a few. Remember, first map will be on Paracel Storm. Again, one of my actual favorite maps here. I just hope we see some good games, because obviously the first semifinal, Fnatic just stomped. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, and they've had such strong starts on this map. I mean, what I'm hoping for in a large part it is obviously quite a close game, but if some team can put and there's no reason not to show your full hand here. There's no reason to wait around and see if you can get to the final. You need to come in and get that first big win in this best of 3, and yeah, we're going to see all out from both these teams.
All right, well, we have Epsilon over on the Chinese side here in PyRoGEN. Over on the US side, what do you expect to see happen early on here between these two teams?
Mad rush of being in control of buildings. It's actually interesting for Pyro has not sent a single person to that A flag. So unless Pyro win out big at B, this bleed's going to start against them. And they have shut down the initial Kappa, which was horrible.
All right, and you can see Ho going with that engineer class trying to blow up some of these buildings. Only will be taken down from the backside, so that will... Unfortunately hurt them a little bit out, but right now you can see the B flag has finally been captured for PyRoGEN, so getting an early hold on to this game. The real question is, how long can they maintain this here? And you're seeing Hexus, who's honestly been such a huge part of PyRoGEN's success so far in this playoffs. I think he really needs to go out big here. And if you were to, you know, pin, in your opinion, you know, one guy that really needs to step up for the side of PyRoGEN if they want to succeed, who's that guy to you?
Oh, it's a difficult one. I'll put Melisium and Flashel. Both those guys sometimes come in with some huge scores here, and some big spawns have come in actually for PyRoGEN. Ico spawned right at the bottom of B, right behind the Epsilon defense, and that's put them on tilt there, and all of a sudden the map's flipped, and now PyRoGEN are at the bottom.
All right, so PyRoGEN looks like they built up a little bit of lead off this, or maybe they should be able to, but look at the building control of Epsilon. They sent quite a few men into there. They're actually rushing towards that B flag now. PyRoGEN with only 2 men up towards this site. I don't know if they can actually hold on to this one. So we'll see Hort pick up the kill on the Hexus. And Lysium will be able to take down David. So we'll get a little bit of payback here. But look at this top spawn coming from PyRoGEN. 3 men going for the random. And they're going to push straight into C here and turn this one around.
Yeah, definitely. That C flag is going to go over to each team quite a lot. What a spawn for David 2K right in front of Icaho here. So that pressure on C, and what a spawn you're going to get there. That basically saved that C flag from going over to PyRoGEN. And right now it's only Melisium on the board, and he goes down, and Benny forced to go for a spawn on top of him. Got it just before he went down, and that was so close to PyRoGEN getting full wiped there.
That's not exactly the start they want to have happen here, but Epsilon starting. After, you know, being 2 cap for a little bit there, they've been able to build up a lead now. About 10 tickets so far, but they're starting to look better as a team. They're starting to look like the team that we kind of come to expect, not the team we saw obviously on day number 1 here. And right now, Hexus having a tough time. PyRoGEN just can't seem to break through anywhere, and it looks like they will get the spawns towards C. And we will see Duke there. Let's see if he can pick up any of the kills. He's going to pick up the first one. And there will be one more man right behind him, Melisium. Let's see if he can turn things around a little bit. We'll spot out Duke. We'll get taken down. And that is a little bit unfortunate for him, but that will be C finally capped over. But look at that tri-cap already coming in. And that is going to be a huge lead now for Epsilon.
Yeah, I don't want to upset Ico too much, but he spent about at least 30 seconds trying to get over the wall. Didn't want to give away his position by shooting it, and instead ends up just wasting so much time that the defenders get back into position. Bad decision by him, but that happens. And right now, Pyro, you know, they really just don't seem to be that coordinated. They're running into these flags, but they're not holding them, while Epsilon seem to have a coherent plan. Yeah, and looks like Ash is actually going down with Hexus picking up that kill. They might have finally been able to turn things around a little bit. It looks like they, you know, we're going to be able to get a little bit of control as to sit inside the buildings as well. And they have lost their man on top of that B flag, but
I'm gonna see how long they can maintain that here. And you know, Epsilon, they might even lose out on C because Ikaho again with the really crazy spawn coming in with Ikaho was able to really get some pressure onto that C flag. And now going to be actually pushing in towards that site. Looks like he will be able to maybe catch Asterix off guard, who's actually running away. And I think he noticed his last second that, guys, C's being capped, and it looks like they're going to go for a straight out push onto this A flag.
Yeah, and finally, it does seem that Pyro managed to get some sort of ground here, but without, you know, Epsilon still in buildings, they need to be very careful.
And right now, a tri-cap coming in for PyRoGEN. They picked up every single flag, and let's see how long they can hold on to this. You see Epsilon respawning, immediately heading over towards this A flag. Their lead is dwindling away, and they see the one man up in the building gets the kill. That is the Melisium up there who does get taken down. So, A, going to be capped over, but still, PyRoGEN, it looks like they're pretty happy with the way they're set up currently with that B and C hold. And let's see if they can maintain it. Obviously, we, had Fnatic go up against Xenitas earlier on this map, and we talked about how the A-B hold is always the most desirable one, but teams value flags a little bit differently sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And, even though they're not flags, the buildings in this map are so important right now. And you can see that Epsilon are hanging on to them as best as they can. They're sacrificing flags for the buildings, and, but they've stayed there all the time. They've never left those buildings since the start of the game, and that's really helping them constantly keep pressure. And finally, they get cleaned up. But you can already see Marsu's already making his way into the B building.
Let's see what Marsu can do here. And B and A capped back over for the side. PyRoGEN here, Epsilon. Only 2 people on the map. We'll get a couple of respawns in here in just a few moments. You see even the command attack onto that flag. So it looks like Marsu definitely wants his team to go towards that direction here. Marsu currently sitting at 8-5, having a pretty strong game so far. On the other side, though, Benny 9-5 and Flasher 8-6 here, and Ikaho, unfortunately, is only 2-6 so far. But Marsu taking his time, waiting for his teammates to get up here. There's actually no one on B right now, but they're taking their time, and that's actually might hurt them quite a bit because they'll be missing out on a lot of tickets from this.
Yeah, definitely. And it takes sometimes you're not 100% sure where the defenders are dug in, and actually you can see PyRoGEN just hiding behind one of the metal containers near the B flag, and that's good if they can stop the initial guy getting onto the flag, but if you can't, you're in a really bad position, and once again PyRoGEN are finding themselves having to chase flags.
And that's not the situation you want to be in, but we do have Flasher going towards the C flag. There's going to be a man off to his right. I don't think he knows he's there just yet. And he will be taken down before capping over. He does get the neutralization, though. He does have a teammate coming in, but Hexus gets taken on as well by David. And that has a 1-on-2 right there coming in the side of Epsilon. So they limit PyRoGEN back to 1 flag. And they're taking down. They're trying to cut away at this lead here. And we're having a very close game on our hands. I honestly kind of expected that it would be more of a one-sided match, but gotta give credit to both these teams.
Yeah, this is back and forth, and David really big plays on that C flag there. That was a 2-on-1, and he got it down perfectly, and there was a lot of patience in his play there, and it's kind of a hallmark of his, and really, really good for him.
And right now, gonna be capped over here. Hexus has coming around the backside, will be naded down though, and he won't get the cap onto. He has at least neutralized it, but that's obviously not enough. Benny, the last man standing in his squad. And we're going to see him maybe get a revive out that window, but still the damage is being done. Look at that. They're tied up in score. He's the last man yet again for a split second there. Now PyRoGEN, they're the ones actually losing out in this map.
Yeah, quite heavily as well. They've gone for a random spawn now. They're going to get C. They haven't lost out on A yet, but it's only a matter of time, and this is looking really good for Epsilon. They've done their homework on this map, and it's showing. And this is the worst place to be from PyRoGEN's point of view. Stuck at the top left of the map. Yes, they've got the C flag, but they can't project their power onto B.
All right, well, right now you see Hexus looking towards that single building. And has been forced to actually go back inside the C flag. And again, look at this. I mean, you see Epsilon push them back to the outskirts of the map. They're not letting them run through, the center area, not allowing them to get that quick rotate in. And from that, PyRoGEN has to be a little bit more careful. And every second that ticks by that they're not having the 2-1, there's another second and another couple tickets that they're actually losing out on. And again, 62-47 here. Marsu now 11-6, Asterix 10-8. And Melisium trying to get this cap over, but it's taken down before he can lock it. And that will be Epsilon picking that one back up.
Yeah, definitely. And Pyro really, really just, they're attacking. It seems to be going well, but it takes so long for them to make anything happen. But Epsilon are able to get back in control and just douse the fire. But it's really, Pyro are trying. This is still a really close game. But man, they're just not getting a grip here.
They are not, indeed. And they're only down 4 kills, so it's not like they're not aiming well. They're just kind of getting outplayed, and we do have, you know, A being capped over, or at least maintained by the side of Epsilon. B is neutralized. C being capped over the side of PyRoGEN, so it'll be a 1-1 hold. Or actually, it might not even be that if Duke can pick up this kill here. It looks like he will, in fact, be able to get it. I don't think there were any respawns. That's actually, I'm wrong. There's 2 more coming in. He's now on a 1-on-2. Try to hold it back at the C flag. They lose control of B, but he will be naded down. And that will be a BC maintained for the side of Pyro. 30 to 51 tickets now. And this game is honestly too close to call, even at this point.
Yeah, Horik here looking to go big here, getting this C capture. While this is going on, opposite number Hex is going straight for A. This is just a crazy back and forth game. A far away spawn for David, might even get spotted out by Benny. This is all over the place.
It truly is, and right now, as you can see, 2 men from Epsilon, Asterix and Marsu inside the buildings, rushing straight towards the flag here. Let's see what this man can do. Thinking Benny, well, unfortunately, he will not. He'll get taken down here in the meantime. PyRoGEN, it'll push onto the C flag. I think this will come down to an A push here in just a few seconds. Melisium can hold on to this one. And again, Epsilon starting to, you know, assert some dominance, but they've lost out on A, they've lost out on C. And they are still taking away on those tickets. Only 10 tickets between these 2 teams. Kind of amazing.
Yeah, very amazing. They're very evenly matched, I feel. PyRoGEN's crazy style is good sometimes, but it does leave for openings, and Epsilon have been exploiting them. But can Epsilon keep up this pace of PyRoGEN, inflict upon them? And it does seem so. I mean, right now, this is absolutely crazy play, but one-on-ones are making the big difference right now.
And we do see a 1-on-1 happening over towards the C flag. Actually, now it's a 1-on-2. Let's see if you can pick up any of these kills. Actually, it's a 1-on-1. I mistook that buoy for a person for some reason. I don't know why it was red. It was a ball. It was close enough. But C going to be capped over for the side of PyRoGEN. As you can see, there's only 2 men up, and they are still struggling. But it's only 20 to 28. And I'm trying to look who's a big playmaker, but you see on the side of, you know, Epsilon, there's 3 people with 13 kills, and and 2 people with 12. They have 5 people with over 10 kills. And on the other side, though, you know, Melisium 8 and 12, and Ikaho 6 and 12. They're not really pulling their weight so far.
Yeah, definitely. Ikaho trying to make a push out A. This is going to be an important one. If he can get this kill on Asterix, who's going to be the defender, then this can open up for a capture of A. And with that, they've got a holding force at B, able to keep that pressure back from that C flag, but it's all about cleaning up A.
Well, right now they will pick up the kill on the backside of A, so they do get that one, and that means that we're going to have to see Epsilon rotate over towards the C flag. But here we go, here's the respawns coming from PyRoGEN. Flasher might be a huge key factor in maintaining control of C, but I believe he looked a little bit too late for that cross, and 1 man has snuck by. That's going to be David. But will Flasher get up there in time? He sees it's being capped over. He'll get naded down. He'll be taken out of the game by Horik here. Now it's 5 to 20 in tickets. And it looks like Epsilon, they're going to be able to close this out here with a lead.
Yeah, definitely. Even though, as that being said, loads of kills just came in for Pyro. It's too little too late, I feel. Unless they can just overwhelm B, but I just can't see it. You can already see that Epsilon start digging back into B, and there you go, 19 tickets. Not too bad, really, but Epsilon definitely had a better control over that, especially early on.
Yeah, very true. And well, right now we're going to be going to the second half here, and obviously, you know, PyRoGEN going to be on the Chinese side, Epsilon over on the US side. You think this is going to favor PyRoGEN a little bit more, being on the Chinese side, or do you feel like they had their chance of being the dominating force?
I'm not actually sure. Pyro were really aggressive there. They kind of didn't even bother going for that A flag, which is kind of a risky play, but you know, Epsilon got the building control, and with that were able to really dictate a lot of the pace of the game. Like I said, they stayed in that building for a good 5-6 minutes of that game.
True.
And yeah, Pyro may have a little advantage on this side, but really they need to keep building control early and keep that bleed going, because for most of the start of that game, it was all Epsilon.
The thing is, we saw the building control with the Fnatic versus Dignitas game, where for that sat inside the buildings, and from that, Dignitas couldn't do anything to really push back into any of the flags. And it looks like PyRoGEN tried to do that, but Epsilon's game plan just kind of caught them off guard, and they weren't really strategized for that.
Yeah, definitely, and a few smiles, pretty rare to see on Epsilon's face after the 2 days they've had. A bit more of a soul searching for the Pyro guys, but you know, they've been here before. This isn't the first time that they've suffered close games like this, but I'm sure they wanted a better start. Is this their map pick?
This is PyRoGEN's map. No, sorry, this is Epsilon's map pick.
Oh, it's Epsilon map pick. Oh, that's actually quite worrying from Epsilon's point of view. I mean, they weren't dominating it. They were obviously in a bit more control, but 19 tickets? Not really what you would want if you were going to pick a crazy map like Paracel. And it is that crazy style with PyRoGEN. It can just knock you off kilter completely. And yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. And Epsilon got to prove that they can hang at this point.
Yeah, they have to, and even PyRoGEN need to prove it as well. I mean, like you said, it wasn't a giant win for Epsilon, but I was kind of expecting a one-sided game for either of these teams, and I think both of them need to, step it up a little bit here. Obviously, PyRoGEN didn't really play today just yet since it was the first team qualified through, but we just saw Fnatic. They didn't play today in any of the matches, but they just completely stomped in their game. Either way, kicking off here, we're going to have a 2-cap potentially coming in soon for the side of PyRoGEN as B has been capped over, but hey, look at this. No one's there just yet, and it looks like David, I'm not really sure whether or not heading towards A at all. I mean, he's making his way in eventually, but that was a really slow play because now they're losing out on the C.
Yeah, but they have all the buildings on the entire map controlled, and you can already see PyRoGEN are kind of not really sure where they can go. They even went for a random spawn out with Ico, and he seems to enjoy the random spawns quite a bit. But this is bad positioning for Pyro, and they need to do something. You can already see Ico is going to make for a way to A, but while this is going on, they're going to lose this B flag without much of a fight.
Yeah, not even a fight at all here. Benny working into the buildings, looking for that one man. He did spot out. Will be Hort getting taken out. We'll turn to B, but will be dropped right after. And Marcio picking up a double right there. Unfortunately, they can't shut that man down just yet here. So 2-1 hold pretty early on for Epsilon. 143 to 143 tickets. And the last man standing was Ico for just a little bit right there. But this has been the story of PyRoGEN. Last man standing. And without 2 flags to 1.
Yeah, really bad positioning on the B flag, but that's what you have to do when you've got no building control. You can already see Ico start to fire a rocket launcher about. They're going to try and negate the building control that Epsilon's got, but yeah, they need to do something quick here because this is slowly but surely pushing more and more in Epsilon's hands.
Oh, no, obviously 19 tickets isn't a big lead, but it is a lead nonetheless. In the mental game that gives you the mental advantage is always a killer, but let's see if they can turn things around. Obviously, over on that Chinese side, they're missing out on B right now. They actually are losing out on quite a few flags here, but we do have one man heading towards C. It's going to be Ikaho. Like I said before, the man who always seems to like these random spawns, and Benny pushing it towards this B flag almost by himself.
Yeah, and usually you had David 2K up at C, but he seems to now just, with such building control, they need people to man them, so they can't always be at 2 places at once, and this is just a really kind of awkward game. Pyro can't really project themselves into that B flag, so they have to go for the AC, but AC is so difficult to keep because spawns are all over it.
Not to mention, PyRoGEN just can't seem to, this is what I'm saying, they can't seem to get up as 5 and execute a strategy on a flag. They always seem to be shut down before then, or it fails and they get kind of back capped here, and something has to change, and it has to change soon, or they're going to be looking at being down 1 map here in this best of 3 in the semifinals and not having a chance to advance on further here. And Nexus will pick up a kill on Marcy, so finally shut him down just a little bit here. But again, they're already down about 20 tickets, and they need to cap over some more flags. We're losing on A for a split second there, but they're able to cap over C, maybe, unless Ashley's can pick up this kill.
Yeah, they really need to start picking up a few more of these 1v1s, or at least, just overwhelm. And so far, the spawns coming in for Epsilon on top of their teammates, not random ones, have been absolutely brilliant. Never overwhelming and never overcommitting. And it's just all good. Until now, where they just got wiped at B, but it happens.
Yeah, I mean, you're right in your point, though, still. I mean, it was all good for them. And right now, lead not huge. I'm trying to see. Actually, we have one man on Epsilon actually disconnected. It's going to be Duke. He has disconnected. We're seeing a 5-on-4 fight now for PyRoGEN. This could be their time for them to actually punish Epsilon and pick up quite a few flags here. They're losing control of A. They're getting control of C, so they will get the 2-1 here in just a few. If Isim can get this kill, it might open things up a little bit further, but he's named himself down, actually. And if they can pull off this tri-cap here, if they do, they could build up a huge lead that will actually give them the map.
Yeah, definitely. This is definitely... it's always Epsilon that seem to have an issue, and this is really unfortunate for them. And yeah, Pyro are going to try and take this advantage and run with it here. They have the B and C flags, but they don't have building control. And a 4-man Epsilon, Duke's rejoining right now, so any advantage they're going to get is going to be quite a small one. And even as we're saying, they're already getting taken out of B, and that's possibly going to follow on at C.
Yeah, the advantage they had, well, it never actually happened because they got 2-cap before Duke even got back into the game here. And I mean, that was a good chance for PyRoGEN to really build up a nice little bit of a lead, get some good control here. But look at this, Epsilon, they're going to get a tri-cap.
Yeah,
they're going to pull this off. This is going to give them so many tickets because of that.
Yeah, and Pyro are just not performing at all to their abilities here. First round was very close, but this one is just a massacre, and Pyro are just not doing well at all.
No, not at all. 112 to 87 now And it looks like, well, A, they'll be shut down 1v2 by Marsu. And again, they're trying to hit B here. Looks like they might finally pull off, but no! The man does get taken down. Benny gets killed on the B flag here, and they're actually not able to cap it over. This tri-cap still lasting, and look at the lead that they're building up here. Yeah,
this is really dangerous for Pyro. They're getting stuck on the far left of the map. Worst place to be. Spawns far from everywhere, and more importantly on the low ground. Easily spotted, and more importantly easily tagged and killed, and that's kind of what you're seeing now.
Hork will finally get taken down here, so C will be capped over for PyRoGEN. Finally, this gives time for Epsilon to set up a kind of a hold that they want. Duke picks up another kill, as you can see. Currently 12-3 for Marsu in this game. He's having a phenomenal one so far, and Duke, after being disconnected, is currently 2-0. And looking for a kill. He's looking for someone right here, as we see him shoot through the window. Unfortunately, doesn't connect with the shot. But either way, they're actually being able to cap over C here because PyRoGEN has started to rotate towards the A flag, and they're using to get this cap for free. Hork might be able to pull off this 1v1 that actually gives them the tri-cap yet again.
Yeah,
he does.
It's absolutely brilliant play from Epsilon here. Really have read their opponent well, and there you go. Horrocks just held onto that C long enough that the rest of the team can come to his aid. Duke PT and Marsu, two people I would never want to be coming after me. And this is just going to finish off his push over at C. There's not much that Pyro can do. They're trying a big push at B, and this is constantly, time and time again, just being frustrated and failed.
So they can't do it this time. Looks like they will be able to neutralize it, if anything. And looks like they will actually cap it over, unless that one man right in front of them can't do anything about it. I didn't see who it was. It's actually David in a 1-on-2 here. He has turned it back over to a neutral state. And he's trying to dodge from these days. He's dancing around them, but he's taken down in the end. And that will finally be a 2-cap going back in favor of PyRoGEN.
Yeah, but they're still building control. They've still got Epsilon in the buildings, and with that, they're really going to have some issues. And yeah, okay, it's finally looking like it's stabilized a little bit for PyRoGEN, but just look, Marsu and Asterix still sitting in the buildings and able to jump off onto any of these flags if they feel like they're confident in doing so.
Yeah, very true. And right now, Flash are trying for back cap. Duke gonna be there though. And I think he knows he's there, but he will get taken down anyways, so it doesn't really matter. And now they're forced to go for a cap on A here, so PyRoGEN finally get a spark of life here. Starting to finally make some moves, starting to finally pick up some kills, and really claw away at this lead that Epsilon obviously have been able to build up. But right now, at 35 tickets with the 19 being that threshold, I don't know if they can do it.
No, this is going to be very hard for them. They have been doing as much damage to those buildings as they can to deny them to Epsilon, but you know, it's too little too late to start doing that now. They need to be focusing on probably holding the buildings, if anything. They need any advantage they can get, and denying it to the Epsilon team really ain't going to help them at this point.
And Hork picks up the 1v1. That's going to give him a tri-cap. Oh, at least it looked like one for a split second there. Either way, they will get the 2-1 hold. Asterix will swap and come from behind, picks up the first kill onto Benny. He might be able to pull off a second one onto Ikaho here, and that actually should be it here, because right now, this is their final push. He picks up a second. Can he get number 3? He's dodging behind the stairs. He eventually does get taken down. But still, the damage has been done. They're capping A. This will be a tri-cap, albeit for a little bit. But that's still going to be enough, because 21 tickets remaining. All it takes is 2 more.
Yeah, and Epsilon really have seemed so much better this round than in the previous one, and that is the kind of lead I would have expected someone who was going to pick this map. And there you go. Finally, Epsilon getting a big win in the first map. But, you know, it's not that surprising. It's just the way that the first round went was so back and forth. You would think maybe something was up in their map pick, but there we got proved wrong completely.
Yeah, very true. And you know, to me, I feel like if Epsilon was going to win this best of 3, they had to win the first map. They had to win on Storm, because you know, Len Kingdom, or sorry, Locker. Wow, I get confused with my L's. And Zava, those to me are PyRoGEN maps, and it's gonna be very tough for them to really go head to head.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to see about that. Obviously, Locker in the past has been very good for Pyro. But Epsilon do have all the makings of a team that can do it on that map. They have all the top fraggers. They have the coordination. I think we've seen that. Some important thing, they're holding spawns a lot. They are really waiting for that pressure. They're not just spawning in for the sake of spawning in. They're waiting for that pressure and responding correctly. And that was the key part of their victory in that last map. And I'll be interested to see if they can keep up with the craziness that Pyro will most likely bring in Locker.
Yeah, I couldn't have said that better myself, because the craziness is definitely going to be something that we need to watch out for here between these two teams. And, you know, now they're on Locker. If you're to put your money on a team here after what you've seen from the first game, at least from the first map, is it still swinging the same way?
Well, Epsilon are looking much better at this point. I'll stick with Pyro, but I think Epsilon, if they keep playing like that, I don't see what PyRoGEN can do.
And then you have to look at, you know, the potential matchup between the winner of this and Fnatic. That's not going to be an easy game whatsoever. Fnatic just looked like a well-oiled machine. I mean, they did not slip up a single bit, and they just were completely dominant on every map they played. But right now, swinging into Operation Locker, PyRoGEN going to be over on the Russian side, Epsilon over on the US side. Quickly, before we do actually get this game underway, what do you expect to see out of both these teams?
And then maybe one pushing through tunnel in the center. But then again, sometimes we have seen, especially from PyRoGEN, a complete disregard of the C flag's existence and just barreling through the B.
All right, well, let's see if they do go for that or not. They do have 2 men working towards the outside, or at least Texas going towards middle. 2 men barreling over to the stairs case here, but David will be there, but will be taken down right away. That will be an early start and first blood going to the side of, actually, I believe it was PyRoGEN right there. And now see, will be captured on the outside. No actual push outside of PyRoGEN for it. So they're playing a little bit slower here, but right now you can see Epsilon going straight into the A flag, looking for the tri-cap right off the bat. Ekaho, he says no to that, picks up the first kill, gets naded down, and that will be A capped over. And if we could see Marsu pick up this kill, that could be a tri-cap, and he will pick that up. But see, it has gone the way of PyRoGEN here in just a few seconds, but doesn't matter. The tri-cap comes in, they pick up the extra bit of tickets, and now they get to set up for this outside to inside push.
Yeah, brilliant start for Epsilon. Everything went their way, and it all started with a kill on Banana, and there's a double kill on Aiko and Benny, and triple kill. And man, this is an absolute collapse from PyRoGEN right now, and it's kind of funny to say it, but this seems to always happen to Epsilon.
You mean the server crashing, or?
I just added in whatever I felt at the end there.
Gun has a lot of bullets. That is a giant clip. That is impressive, and I don't even see the gun actually shooting. And we'll obviously have a little bit of difficulties here. And hopefully these will be sorted very shortly. It looks like PyRoGEN have already even started to leave the server. And well, again, I mean, now I guess a lot of teams are feeling the wrath. That is the server crashing. This time PyRoGEN before Planet Key Dynamics. And again, hopefully things can be fixed in just a few minutes. But it wasn't that big of a lead though. I'm trying to actually check up what the score was. 148 to 128.
Yeah, but they were in a very strong position there. A and B, the only C flag was going over to PyRoGEN, and that was a very strong start. Everything went wrong for PyRoGEN, and yeah, what are you going to say, really? It just seems to keep happening.
It's unfortunate. That's what it is, and I wish obviously things like that couldn't happen, but you kind of have to roll the punches. I feel like I've actually casted every Epsilon game so far. So that means I've had every server crash as well. You know, eventually you run out of things to talk about at that point when you see the crashes happen, and Epsilon, they're used to it right now. You see their faces, they're not phased.
Yeah, it really shouldn't face them at this point. I mean,
they should expect it. I mean, when it didn't happen on Paracel Storm, they should have been like ecstatic.
Yeah, I think that's about right. I mean, we played every game on the Sun. It happens, but yeah, they must feel that they are the cursed team.
Well, they're not. They're Epsilon.
Epsi curse.
I was hoping you kind of get the reference in that one, but it looks like they're actually joining the server, trying to get hopefully hear a word from the admin on what we're doing about the scores here. I think they might do what they've been doing before. I think it was 148 to 128 if I remember what I said earlier on. I'm just gonna tab out and check to see if I can see that, and it was 148 to 128. But I'm gonna assume they'd be going for the same thing. But we're just waiting for the response from the admins, as you see. Pio, I don't actually know how to say his name, but it's like PYO. One of our admins. Is that how would you say it? Pio?
Yeah.
Wait, I don't know if I don't believe you.
Let's go Pyro.
But there's no R.
No, I can add an R if I want to though. I'm very good at adding letters where they're not meant to be. It's one of my skills.
Well,
one of my better skills actually.
You don't have very many of those, so hopefully that.
I've got better Left 4 Dead skills than you.
Really?
Yeah.
Do we need to get into this?
Yeah, I'll get into this.
Because I could, but I don't want to get fired. So I'm going to stick to talking about Battlefield 4, where you are better at than me.
Yeah, that's very true.
But it's not hard to be better than me. I mean, You talked about, versus, ESL versus, how you can get your start. A lot of these players did get their start there, and, teams didn't want you because you just weren't even good enough. Wow. Well, that's why you're what, management for Dignitas?
Yeah, but that's the reason I retired, because it was too easy to just keep winning games.
Okay.
It's all right. I made too easy to learn how to play Battlefield back in the day. I taught them some humility. Unfortunately, years of me being out the scene has left them unhumbled for quite a while. So it's creeped back in.
All right. Well, you do see the players.
I can do this.
You can do what?
I could humble them again. It's
really?
No problem. Easy.
Well, from what I heard from Pansy, I don't think you could.
What does that mean?
Pansy always talks a big game. If you guys know her in person, she's, in her mind, always the best at every game she ever plays. And if you ever kill her, it was a fluke.
She kills people like at a booth at an event, maybe, but...
she's come in the studio. She's in the studio and she's angry. So if you don't hear from me, guys, because I'm getting strangled, you know who did it. She's not. I wish we could show her on the screen right now because she does not look happy. But she also can't. You guys can't hear her, so we can talk all about her. What we want.
Yeah, she stole lots of prizes at multiple events, but should have gone to more worthy children.
Well, she's acting like she's impressed, but I mean, you stole it from someone. You beat someone up. That's not very. Don't come over here.
That's exactly what happened.
Jason's never won anything in his life before.
Wow. You want to make a bet? Because you would be right and would win that bet. That's what you would do for that. I was never good enough to play competitively, but that's when the US was better at esports than Europe.
Whoa, that's never actually happened.
It never has happened,
It's never happened.
We're better at American football.
Yeah, sorry.
We're better at baseball.
If you invented it and everyone else wanted to play it,
we are better at being more obese than Europe.
I think Samoan nations say otherwise.
Well, Mexico is the most obese nation.
Really?
I believe so. I was reading up on that today. It's actually like 32.8% of the people are classified as obese, and it's only like 31.2 in the US. We're so off topic here. I'm sorry. My producer's really about to yell in my ear. I can tell. I can hear the static from him turning on his mic. But obviously, we're just waiting to see what the admins do say, and we're waiting to kick this one off back again. It was 148 and up to 128 for what I can tell before we did have that crash happen. But the admins are just trying to make sure everything has been sorted before we do get underway here. Yep, they are saying it's 148 to 123. All right, so I'm gonna do some quick maths here. So if Epsilon dropped two tickets, then they have gone out in the first map or second map. And PyRoGEN is 27. Wait, yes, 27. I love that our producer is better at math than I am.
You probably got the calculator on.
Is that true? He says no, he does not have a calculator. He's just that naturally talented. But we're getting back underway here, so I think we can drop in a game in just a few seconds. I believe live has been called. And we're going to have a game kicking back off here. But as we saw, Epsilon had pretty good control of the game. As we do just swap squads really quickly.
Yeah, they did. If they ended up losing this map now, they're going to be incredibly upset. It's just another part of being a part of Epsilon, it seems.
You know what you're getting into when you put that Epsilon tag on.
Yeah, you put that t-shirt on and
you get
you
plus
deal with this.
plus 30% to chance to have server crash when playing.
At least. Let's hope it's only in the servers. Not like, I don't know, the ride home.
A car? the same mindset there for a second. I mean, I feel a little dark about it, but as you see, a little bit of frustration on the side of Epsilon, but I'm also seeing them just not really care. They're just like, whatever, just get this back on. Let's just win this. Get 2-0 sweep. Let's go up against Fnatic.
They're used to it.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to after.
Yeah, at least.
How many times has it happened for them so far? One. It's happened at least once in every set of games.
Yep.
It's happened twice in one of the sets, so 5 times.
Yeah, 5 times. 5 times.
5 times too many.
Yeah.
All right, but you can see we are going to be getting live here in just a few seconds. Just wait for the admin to make that official call in chat. And we will be kicking this one off here. Sorry for the delay, guys. Obviously having a little bit of tech difficulties for the server. And we will be getting the second map. If you guys just joined us, you missed out on Epsilon actually winning against PyRoGEN by 17 tickets on Storm and are now 1 map away from securing themselves a spot into the finals up against Fnatic here. So, back to the game. And remember, it's 140 to 123 technically. I'll remind you guys, obviously, a little bit more as it gets closer to that point. But, again, what are we going to see? I think PyRoGEN can go for a little bit something different.
Damn, yeah, they are. They're going for a 3-man push out of C. They already know they're quite far behind here. They need to at least make sure that the next round isn't so bad for them. And you can see a completely different approach from Epsilon as well. No pressure at C at all. It's almost like both these teams kind of knew their openings, and we're going to see if they were going to change anything up. Both of them decided to change, and it seems to be kind of working out much better for Pyro right now.
So far, they actually haven't lost on a ticket. It looks like they won't have that happen anytime soon. They were able to wipe the push from Epsilon over towards this A flag from the sensor side, and Marsu now getting blown up here. And again, 140 to 150, a great start for PyRoGEN this time. But how long can they keep it going, or can they do it? Because Epsilon just takes them a little bit of time to get things going. Once you get those respawns in, they're going to be barreling down on one of these flags, and I would hate to be the one defending them. Yeah, definitely. And this is like this is a very similar situation that happened with Planet Key when they were playing. Server restart, and then the complete opening went against them. And right now, this is a really nasty one. They're getting shut down everywhere. Wow. And they have finally taken Melisium down. Finally picking up 1 kill, but will actually get sold. It looks like it will. It looks like he will not get revived. So they finally going to take 1 ticket off, and here just a few off of PyRoGEN. But again, they've lost out on 30 at this point. And if they drop below 2 tickets, that means PyRoGEN will have come back in this one, and that will mean we'll be seen at map number 3. Yeah, definitely. And you would think Epsilon are going to do everything in their power to never let it get to that point. And this is a difficult one for them, though, because they are getting chased on the map. They need someone to come out massive, and it could be David here, but unfortunately he gets taken down. That was a big, messy fight today, and Pyro just seem to be in control now. All right, well, they do have B, they do have A with that big firefight that you just did mention, and now they're forced Epsilon to play from the outside to in, and Marsu, he's going to try right now, and again, he's been the guy that's really stepped up for their team to help them, succeed in the matches that they do win. But he's 0-5 right now. He hasn't gotten a break so far in this game, and I guess that's the whole story of the entire team of Epsilon. As we see, a total of 6 kills on their team right now, compared to the 15 over on the other side for PyRoGEN. Yeah, and more importantly, PyRoGEN's rotations are just so much better right now. There you go, Bo. Duke getting the kill on Flasher. This is going to open up pressure onto B. Meanwhile, all the PyRoGEN players are stuck outside of the flags, and finally, maybe Epsilon can stem this tide. Well, let's see if they can. David will take down 1, but will get dropped right thereafter. Hort going to come around the corner, looking towards jail side, but he will be forced back immediately here with those grenades coming in. He's actually playing this one very smartly. So just trying to nade him down, trying to keep him away. But look at this. We have the push coming on the kitchen. Marsu, can he come up big for his team? He'll swap that first one out. He won't connect just yet here. But they are defending it, though. We do see it starting to be capped over for the side of Pyro, but Benny gets taken down. That's on the hands of Flasher and Melisium and Ikaho here to capitalize off of this. Yeah, and I was just watching a one-on-one between Asterix and Hexus, and it goes over to Epsilon. That was an important one. Unfortunately, it brought in the attention of the rest of the Pyro team, who, losing out on A, decided to go heavy for B, and that's the only choice left to them, really. But with that, C is wide open, and you can see PyRoGEN here really just want to bounce back between that A and B, and only go for C when they really have to. Yeah, and that's something PyRoGEN doesn't do. They will go for C whenever they want to, kind of thing. They don't just necessarily focus on A and B. They definitely try to go for that flag on the outside, since they know they can pick it up pretty quickly here. Marsu will get a revive on a teammate there. Nate going to come in yet again, and then we'll take down his friend Asterix here. But he picks up 1 kill. He's actually surrounded in quite a few different directions here. And I imagine he's not going to actually survive this one as he gets a couple of respawns in, but it doesn't matter. Asterix is taken down, and that will be A and B back in the hands of PyRoGEN here in Epsilon. Honestly, really struggling. Yeah, really struggling. This is not good at all. That's a team wipe completely on Epsilon. Spawns are going to come in at the bottom of the map, and this is where it starts to get dangerous for Epsilon, because up until this point, it's been back and forth, but if PyRoGEN can lock in this AC hold, it's going to be very hard for Epsilon to get back in. Well, speaking of Epsilon, let's actually take a listen on their comms and see what's going through their minds right now.
One Seagate kitchen. Seagate dead.
One banana dead.
Go away, go away.
Kitchen.
One more.
No one here.
There's only one.
C-spot. Okay, he's clear.
Two dead on C.
Captain.
I can see.
Yeah, flasher. Good.
BB, above B.
Tunnel, pass meg. What did I hear?
B spawn, 2B, upper B.
I'm spawning C.
One down.
I'm going mountain. I'm going mountain.
So,
okay, everything is clear. Hold. Yeah, let's hold now, boys.
Two here.
You come to Seagate, to save. Asterix, go inside A.
Okay.
Yeah, security.
Okay. Go in, David. I got
Pushing A now from security. One long, take out the push C. Oh no.
We can't. Why we don't spawn inside, Buzzmack?
Down.
They're only one inside.
Go.
Nobody spawning there.
You're going back to B.
Yeah, go from security. Get
I know
security
where
from
he is.
security.
Don't.
And one thing you are hearing on the side of Epsilon is that they're gathering a lot of information and they're conveying that to their teammates, you know, quite quickly, just so they can kind of get some sort of advantage. But they pulled up a trike up for a split second there. But right now, they are down 62 to 97.
Yeah, those spawns for Epsilon at the bottom of B, it's the reason why that flag is always dangerous. If you don't leave a defender there, it's always going to get capped over eventually. By just the spawns alone, let alone anyone wanting to actually go for it. And with that, PyRoGEN, without that pressure to see regularly, they're just sacrificing it, and they're getting locked in right now at A. And this is a back-and-forth game, and they really need to be pulling ahead, and that's a full wipe against PyRoGEN. And man, Epsilon must be happy right now.
Yeah, that's a major
Trip cap.
turnaround for them. And like I said, Trip kept coming in. Now we should hear the side of PyRoGEN. Obviously, I don't speak French. I don't think you do either, but some people out there might be able to understand. But you should hear at least the frustration that's going through their mind right now, because they have to hurry and start capping things back.
Un push C les gars, on avait dit, hein. On avait dit un push C. O2, il est vers O2. Spoté.
Il est mort. Je suis mort.
Encore. Mort.
Nice.
C'est bon le C?
Ouais, logiquement, je suis mort.
Ok, il a pas.
Je suis mort.
Restez sur B, ça passe.
Défense en B, les mecs. Défense en B.
Z2.
Et
relance tout de suite après.
Z2, un par tic.
Crève pas.
Ouais, encore un.
Relance tout de suite après. On interrompt.
Derrière, les gars.
Mort encore. Ah, dommage.
Ils sont tous sur A.
Non, sur B. Ils sont tous sur B.
Bon, là, c'est là. Et un qui reste sur C.
Spawn la tour, essayez.
Non, ça.
I was going to say that for a second. The team I seem to turn into always seems to be the team that starts to get a little bit of an edge there, because PyRoGEN started coming back, but honestly, they're not winning in terms of flag holds, and not going to be winning very shortly in terms of tickets as well. Remember, if they drop below 27, they will have lost out here on the first half of the second map, and will be one half away from being knocked out entirely, and not to mention, I believe that Ekaho was the last man in the squad for a split second there. Horik, can he pick up some big kills here? And actually could shut them down and give up a big lead, but he does get dropped down. Hexus picks that one up. And now Ashik's forced to actually push down into that top side, maybe get a kill right under them.
Yeah, and you know, Horik has been doing a really good job in this game. Really solid plays from him so far. And that's a clean wipe out of B. And there you go, Pyro once again stuck out in the last flag at C. And man, they're just not getting much headway anymore.
They're not, and unfortunately, David can only pick up one right there, and then we'll get the respawn in there, at least the revive. Now, Duke going to be here, Marsu, and quickly, Astrix heading over there, trying to defend onto this one. In the meantime, Horik pushing the outside, actually spots that one man out there. It's going to be Flasher. They haven't actually picked up the kill onto each other just yet here, but the action is going to be kicking off at A, so we're going to keep our sights over here as Marsu 1v3 will pick up the first kill. Can he get number 2? He spots him out. He's trying to reload, though, and he will get naded down here. He will fall. And that will be A capped over. In the meantime, C, the push was stopped by Flasher, and that means now Epsilon forced to hold on to the back of B.
Yeah, 2-on-1 over at C. It went Flasher's way. Very smart play, baiting out David and finally cleaning it up here. And this is the chance here for Pyro. Benny threatening that B, forcing a massive response. And this might buy time for Pyro to work out that there's possible pressure across the board in every flag right now.
Remember, 7 more tickets, and that will be enough for the first half to go over to Epsilon here. But with only 30, well, technically 29 to work with right now, Epsilon are starting to really struggle. You can see, you know, Duke's 15 and 12, Astrix 11 and 12, and David 13 and 12, and Marsu, unfortunately, only 9 and 9. Not having the best of maps so far, but you know, every ticket that does get taken away is another ticket that Epsilon won't have to use maybe in that second half. And Astrix trying to push outside, and the rest of Epsilon trying to push in straight through A. They're going to just charge straight into the flag, and this should be theirs for the taking.
Yeah, that's a clean wipe at A, and everything just went Epsilon's way there. Melisium, last guy on the board, stuck out at C. They went for the random spawns, and none of them were at B, and that's the only chance they really could have had to get back in there.
All right, well, one more ticket will be it here, and we'll actually have it happen. So that will mean, I believe it was 16, if I'm not mistaken, or was it 17? But that means either a 14 or 15 ticket lead for the side of Epsilon. That means they are now ahead here into the second half of map number 2.
Yeah, that was a bit of a messy game at times, but finally Epsilon did take a lead, and they had such a strong start. And with that, really, that's what won them the game. And, you know, Marsu, obviously, Duke PT 17-14. But Horik, even though he's bottom of the scoreboard there, was getting a lot of important 1v1s. And with that, keeping the bleed ticking over. And, you know, I've seen some lovely play outside of Benny and Flasher at some points, but, you know, it's just not enough at all.
I'm just waiting on the official wording from the admins on exactly what's going to happen for that one. But guys, obviously, after this best of 3 does finish, looks like it was 14 is the score that they have, the lead that they have. After this one obviously does finish, we're going to be kicking off with our grand final. Winner of this game obviously will be going up against Fnatic here, and that should be, honestly, a great game here. Fnatic looking strong the entire tournament, and both these teams really going head-to-head and duking it out. But right now, obviously, PyRoGEN, they need to win this map. They have to win this half if they want to keep their hopes alive, and that would take them to Zavod, which you were saying, if they can, you know, get to map 2 and win it, they should be able to take map 3, at least from just past results.
Yeah, definitely, and Epsilon really have something to prove here, and you know, I've had a lot of nasty things to say about them. Well, not nasty, but not complimentary. And I think they're trying to prove me as wrong as possible right now. They are basically outplaying Pyro in a few ways. But that crazy style does have an impact, and in a lot of the cases, it's just breaking through breaking through the line sometimes when Epsilon think they're safe.
All right, well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This could be the final half for PyRoGEN here in the spring 2014 season. They have to do something about this to get back into it. 14 tickets, honestly, isn't that much. But Epsilon, they can taste the victory. And let's see if they can finally get the whole shebang here, as we're going to have them pushing out onto that Russian side, sending 3 men, it looks like, towards the C flag here, just like we saw PyRoGEN actually do when we got that restart.
Yeah, definitely. I think both teams know how the other really breaks out right now, but there's that big kill on the Duke PT. This opens up Banana and opens up a possible A push. More importantly, PyRoGEN are doing a great job at shutting down pressure outside of C. I'd be very worried for Epsilon, as this is almost a full wipe. David is the last guy up. He's getting people spawning on top of him. They're going to possibly get C out of this, but man, that is not the start they wanted.
Well, they will get C and maybe B as well, because Marsu and Duke are both back there. If they can pick the kills they need, so in fact, go for them. They will have a 2-to-1 hold here, but not after losing that little bit of a lead. Marsu, well, his teammate has died. Ikaho can actually spam the nades down there. I'm going to drop it as well. They should be able to pick up this kill, I would imagine, onto Marsu in just a few seconds, and will lock down the hold on to B. But Marsu coming up big, picks up 2 kills, and from that, he's going to get the cap on to B. There's no one else there on the side of PyRoGEN, and now Epsilon are shoving in towards this A flag here.
Yeah, that A flag.
Oh no, they got the respawns.
Yep, welcome respawns, but they're all stuck in a kind of kill zone there, and you know, it was almost David 2K picking up 3, he got 2 instead, but you know, this is giving Epsilon time.
It has, and it looks like they should be able to lock down A here. They still have a man advantage, but they're still dropping 1 by 1. Marsu, he's got to pick up the kill, but he has his teammate there. David saves his life. They're going to get the respawns in as well on top of that. So they will have the AC hold here, not to mention Ikaho being taken down at the C flag. That will give them the ability to push in towards B if they want, or at least set up this deadly line defense.
Yeah, definitely, and that was an interesting one. Asterix and Horik there over at C, managing to get the 2 kills, securing that C flag, and keeping the bleed coming over for Epsilon.
Duke's like, this is my house. It just completely takes down Hectus right there. He might be able to pick up a second as he switches to his pistol. Fortunately, he does fall, but the pressure has been applied. All it did was cost him 1 point, but he kept 3 or 4 people there. And that's the key point, and even Dave was able to slip through on the backside. We'll spot out people down this alleyway, but he will get dropped. So, unfortunately, they're losing out on 2 people. Look at the respawns coming in from the side of Epsilon. Duke and Asterix both towards C here. Look how slow. Look at this 3-man push that was stopped by 1 man. Was that Hort picking up 3 that stopped that C push?
Yep, welcome to the world of Horik. He really is just doing really good in this round, and that pressure completely shut down and given time to reinforce A. Pyro just getting shut down here.
Wow, and you see Benny, I mean, gets a revive in, but immediately gets taken back down again and gets rushed as well. And look at that, 124 to 108. And we see Epsilon maintaining this 2 flag hold. They're keeping this line. They're not letting anyone cross it. And PyRoGEN, they're starting to get a little bit worried. I think we should listen to their comms really quickly just to see how frantic it must be.
Snake.
Push à la nappe, petit couloir.
Laisse-moi sur C.
J'arrive, but.
Ah, Kitchen. Il est full rouge sur C. Il y en a full rouge. Kitchen, nade-le.
Et là. Attends, j'arrive.
Le HP, très HP. 40. Voilà. Encore un.
Sur C, encore mid.
Ah, il y en a encore un mid. Pourquoi j'ai rechargé? Quoi les mecs?
2 c'est toujours. Ils tiennent les pauses.
You can definitely hear some frustration in their voices as they did get completely squad wiped right there. And Unfortunately, it looks like David was a little bit too slow for the revive, but 121 to 83, they're getting one step closer. Every second that ticks by is another ticket that's gone, and is another ticket closer to getting into these finals. So remember, 14 is going to be that threshold, and let's see if they can keep this one going. They still have the 2-1 C and A, but look at this. Duke pushed up. He let 2 slip by him, but can he turn around and pick up these kills? He's actually getting naded down. He gets dropped, and this could be finally a successful push on the side of PyRoGEN onto this A flag here.
Yeah, definitely, and you can see Pyro just putting pressure onto the A all the time. It's always A, it's never any other flag really. It's always A, and there you go. They eventually get rewarded for their persistence, and there it's going to be the A-B hold. It's a good hold, but the problem I'm seeing with PyRoGEN is they're not in position a lot of the time to defend properly, and they get caught on the move a lot of the time.
Yeah, and the thing is, you saw Epsilon over towards the sensors mostly. They would rush straight out of A, catch them off guard, and pick up the kills. And from that, you saw PyRoGEN just was not really expecting it. And let's see what happens this time. Asterix going to be pushing him into the hallway. Going to actually nade one man down, picks up the kill as Hex is dropped. Can he pick up a second? He'll actually get taken down. And now David coming in from the side. They're looking for this push on A, and it looks like with these kills coming in, they might be able to do it here. And he spots out the second man. He gets the kill. That's 2 for him, and he's going to get the revive onto Mars. Or no, is he just going to wait and let the respawns come in on the other team? And well, Hexus, can he redeem himself? Can he pick up any of the kills? He'll turn that corner, but he'll be taken down here by the help of Asterix, and that should be a capped over for the side now of Epsilon. They had the 2-1 yet again, but look at this. PyRoGEN still have 2 men on the backside, but Duke will pick up the first one, and David, will he get the second one? No, he'll be taken down. And Benny, will he get the respawns? This is a very ballsy play. Like, this could actually come back to haunt them.
Yeah, definitely. This is a ballsy play for both teams. All frags are being threatened, so it all comes down to 1v1s, and this is going to be a big time for someone to shine.
Duke in a 1v2 here does get dropped, so that will be B maintained C. Was capped over by PyRoGEN here. And now, Epsilon, where are they going to go from this? 51 tickets left to go on PyRoGEN's side. Technically even less than that here. We can take a look at the kills. I mean, 8-6 for David and Marsu, 8-4 for Horik, 9-6 for Asterix, and 9-7 for Duke. And Horik, well, he's looking for more. He seems to be the king of the outside right now because, like we saw before, he single-handedly stopped a 3-man push.
Yeah, he's just been doing a really solid defensive role. Get taken out there, though.
Yeah, just when I start to mention it, it just dies.
Oh, yeah. Caster's Curse. That was the best of it. And right now, Pyro, though, struggling to maintain that B flag. And I see Epsilon really just going into the flag zone, making it look like they're going to go for the flag, pulling a response out of spawns, and then just running away.
And now Horik charging in towards the safe flag, pulls up the pistol, picks up the kill. Can he get the second one to the guy on his left? But either way, he has held onto the flag. Looks like with the help of Marcy, was able to defend on this one. But the backspawn's coming in. Duke, can he stay alive long enough? Maybe David can get the respawn top and they can make a push onto this B flag. Not to mention, kind of pins their moon with the help of Asterix, who's going to charge straight to the stairs, picks up the kill. As Elysium now down here, he's actually going to get naded up here, I believe, from right behind him. But they're not able to push and just sit here. It's still Duke taking his time. And the kills will come in. There's no one on B. Actually, there's 1 man on B. It's Flasher, but can he defend on a 1-on-2?
Yeah, Duke trying to just harass as much as possible and be holding off any reinforcements turning up at the C flag, and that's needed right now because Hex is 1-on-1 over there. And Duke eventually goes down, but this is Epsilon taking their time to get a flag cap here, and maybe they shouldn't really be playing around with them at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's getting pretty close. There's only a 21 ticket difference between these two teams, and honestly, if you let yourself slip just a little bit, you could be sliding a little bit too much. And they will pick up the kills here. Duke picks it up, gets the revive as well. That will be C-capped over. Or can Benny stop that from going for it? We'll spot out the first one. We'll pick up the kill on the Duke. But he's got to pick up that second one. Unfortunately, he will not be able to. So that will be the 2-1 again back on the side of Epsilon. But look at this 3-man squad pushing in towards this A flag here. Marsu's come up big before. He's going to do it again. Picks up one. We'll actually just back away, watching his backside, watching that flank. But there won't be anyone there just yet here. But they're able to hold this off here. And right now, 36 tickets is getting ever so closer, Dogbert. We could have our second finalist.
Yeah, definitely. And Epsilon are playing for that right now. They are going to make this move on the P. What a spawn, though. Ico right on top of P. This is going to be a possible triple cap, but only if Hexus can do something huge here. He's going to have Benny support as well. You know what? PyRoGEN can pull a Dignitas here if they just keep putting the pressure on and don't give up.
They could, and right now you see Epsilon just trying to get the respawns towards A. They're constantly fighting on their side of the map, but because of that, they're not able to push in towards any of these flags just yet. And Flasher playing a very strong defensive game, gets a couple of respawns in as well just to help out here. And as you can see, 45 tickets left to go on the side of Epsilon. PyRoGEN can do it, but they can't afford to slip 14 more tickets, or that will be it. That's only 14 more kills that we do need to see out of Epsilon. And I want to say that if if they lose a flag here, that's going to be it. Like, they have to hold this 2 cap for the rest of the game. And Leeson will be taken down. That is C, completely wide open. But look at this, Ashrix in a 1 up, potentially 4 here in just a few.
Yeah, I don't really know what PyRoGEN want to want here. They're spread out across the map. They can overwhelm this A, but they're not 100% sure how many defenders are left there, and they're taking time they don't have. They need to just get in and make a decision.
Right now, they're getting Epsilon so damn close, though. They've only lost 1 ticket in the past 20 or 30 seconds here, so they're doing a pretty good job. They're trying to go for the cap onto A here, but they will be able to pick it up. Horic gets taken down by Hexus, and there is no one else left to defend that. Look at this. Why is Ashrix and Marsu up here so high on the C flag? They're trying to reinforce it, but now look at this. They're dashing straight towards the B, and the respawns have come in for PyRoGEN back there.
Yeah, they're big spawns, and only Benny being left to defend that A flag, that might come back to hurt them. And right now, yeah, that was a reprieve on that spawn, and this is becoming a really close 4 game. Was it 14 tickets a cutoff point?
Yeah, it is, and that's 6 tickets to go, and right now they're going to maintain the push on a B here. Marsu in a 2-on-1, trying to push in towards the A flag. It looks like he will be successful in it, but again, they have C, and we see PyRoGEN sending 3 men out there to cap onto that. And look at this back. Oh, Horic, if he picks up this kill, he spotted him out. If he can pick him out, then that's going to be it. But he gets taken down. That is so unfortunate. And now we see 6 tickets left to go here.
Yeah, and the bleed is with Pyro. Duke PT comes through, though, gets a kill, and they're spawning on him. And Pyro here, they've got people holding spawns. They need to make a decision now if they're going to defend here or hold C.
Well, they have to, and it looks like with the backup from PyRoGEN, they're going to pick up the kill on that. They're going to get the 2 cap. They're going to get the tri-cap, potentially. Horic flanking on the outside. This could be it. PyRoGEN could be knocked out. They have 4 tickets left to work with. Ikaho has got to do something big here because now they have the bleed against them. They only have 3 more tickets to work with, and I think Epsilon are going to do it.
That's a kill over at the A flag, and it's 15 tickets. This is so close, but they're not able to push the cap at B, and there you're going to have it. It's gonna be, no, that is it. That is gonna be all it. Epsilon get the final word, and wow, that was close.
So close at the end, but Epsilon prevailing to the end. They're picking up a 2-0 victory. It wasn't clean, it wasn't pretty, but it was all they needed to get into the finals. And now Fnatic looking at their opponents here, sizing them up a little bit. It's gonna be an epic match between these 2 teams. The 2 teams who battled it out the entire season long in every single cup, with only Meteor Makers getting the better of them 1 time, or sorry, not Meteor Makers, where did they come from? Fnatic getting the better of them 1 time in cut number 1.
Yeah, and it's going to be a grudge match for both these teams coming to the final, but this is going to be a crazy one. And, you know, Epsilon, I didn't give them much of a hope getting into the final here, so very impressed by their performance.
Yeah, congratulations yet again to them. And, well, that now means Fnatic, Epsilon, you got to give me your thoughts on this one, because I feel like it could be a very good game, but it's also a very high possibility it could be very one-sided with the way Fnatic looked earlier. We haven't seen Epsilon look like Fnatic have so far.
No, not at all. Not as decisive in any way. And I will still give it to Fnatic. I think they will likely be able to win that one quite decisively.
I think you and I are pretty close to getting the mouse and the headset. I think we've been pretty spot on with most of our predictions. I think I've messed up 1 so far.
I think I picked Pyro in this one, so yeah, I think didn't go well.
Actually, yeah, you did. Oh,
it's all right. You don't need a new headset anyway.
That's true. I don't, but it looks so pretty. Actually, what I really want was the keyboard out there. That thing looks awesome. It glows orange and everything, but maybe that's destined for Fnatic. Maybe that's why it's a sign.
Oh yeah, I'm sure the headset sponsor might not think so, but I mean, definitely probably what they want. But yeah, you could see that Fnatic was sitting there watching Epsilon, so I think that's who they probably thought was going to get through. So, you know, they're ready for them, I think. And I think if you'd asked Fnatic who they'd want in the final, they'd probably have said Epsilon. There's a lot of bad blood between those two, and more importantly, if they'd played against Pyro, it would have been just revenge for what happened last time. But they've been playing against Epsilon all through the season. It's the team that they would like to beat on LAN.
Yeah, I really can't wait to see this grudge match. Just the fact that, as we mentioned before, they played in every single cup pretty much against each other, but Fnatic only got the best of them once. But then again, Fnatic never looked like in the cups like they look like now. And if Pansy pointed out, you know, earlier on that when they're on LAN, they're a completely different beast. They're a completely different team, and they are probably one of the strongest, if not the strongest teams here.
Yeah, definitely. And when you're talking about like Epsilon, you're talking about the team that does well online. And when you're talking about Fnatic, they've got so much experience on LAN. But this is like literally they beat Dig, and they were just like, yeah, cool, walked off. You know, no problem.
Well, it was a very one-sided game.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe, but you know, for Epsilon, you know, this felt like this was going to be a lot of hard work.
It felt like it was a lot of hard work just to get through their semis. And even the groups alone, I mean, PKD took them out. Obviously, it took them to the lower bracket right away, and they struggled through them the rest of the time.
Yeah, but I just feel Fnatic, this is their one. They know it. They've had a lot of feeling that this was going to be theirs. And I think that confidence will take them through. But, you know, Epsilon, they have the players to do it. And Horik, I keep bringing him up. And I really do feel he's a big part. But David plays smart all the time. Really smart player.
And Marsu.
Well, yeah, Marsu's the guy you depend on flags to do the right thing, and that's been seriously probably, especially in a few of the moments where it looks like it was going to go against them, he stepped up, and that really saved them.
All right, well, we'll get underway in just a little bit with Fnatic up against Epsilon, but for now, we're heading over to Red Eye, who has an interview with Reaper.
Thanks very much. Yes, with Reaper. What a story. What a run it's been for you guys. We spoke yesterday off air about the mental toughness of your team and how you had to settle down and not worry about all these server crashes. It always happens to you. We've just accepted now that it's the Epsilon server crash. You guys have now achieved the first part of your goal. You're now in the grand final. Just explain to me what that means to the team.
First of all, I'm very proud of my boys. So everybody just really stepped out and make his mentality. What do we expect? I don't know. Fnatic is the best team. They have problems at the last time as with us. We have struggling all the day, yesterday, today. As we spoke about it, we move on, step on it, but do it behind, and I don't know. It's we feel it's funny. So we are known as like the crashers. So we're expecting and looking forward to it because the last months we have fight always the finals against them. We have to take a revenge on them because they won 3 times, we just once. So I hope we can beat them.
All right. Well, it was a sweet way of coming through the semi-final. It was a tough game against PyRoGEN. You always knew it was going to be. What was the key reason that you think you came through?
First of all, the maps. It was very lucky for us. And it's always hard to fight against our friends because PyRoGEN is, I can say it, they are the best team in the friendship with us. And it was a bad feeling against we beat them and we defeated them. The lucky part is Paracel. It was a very close game, but we can dominating all the time 2 flags. And Duke get a new mouse, but we always we have another problem. Duke's that mouse, and he has the back on the heat, and he stepped out and fragging all around with Horik.
Yeah, he really did, but the new mouse as well. Okay, let's talk about the final a little bit before it gets there. It's Fnatic versus Epsilon, which kind of has a bit of a poetic ring to it because you guys have met 3 times in the regular season in the finals. You've won twice, they won 1. You won 3 of the finals of the 4. You went into all 4 finals as well. You've had a fantastic season. Then it's been a bit of a struggle this weekend, but there's also lots of history between you 2 teams. They were the original Epsilon team, of course, then moved over to Fnatic. You then had many fights with them, and there seems to be a little bit, I mean, I don't want to build this up too much, but there seems to be a bit of needle between the 2 of you as well.
I think it's equal. I don't know it's the perfect counting it, but we have a long history, as you said, yes. We have a lot of fights. I think we have deuce, we have the draw. So they won against us a lot of time. We did it over them. Also, sometimes we have some draw matches, which is very close. I think we have the mentality advantage right now because we have the struggling 2 days. We have an awesome day. We have pretty hard enemies because they have Dignitas, yeah. Dignitas the last time, so big respect for Dignitas, for Mim too. But I think... Yeah.
But Fnatic, they've played so well over the 2 days. Every match they've played, they've dominated the matches. They haven't just won, they've dominated matches. Does that scare you guys, or do you not worry about it?
No.
It doesn't scare you.
Yeah, that's all.
Scares the hell out of me watching it.
Yeah. No, it's no scaring because they have to scare because we have crashes. That means we are leading it. We are leading the matches. I hope we have some crashes.
All right. Well, best of luck and thank you very much. Reaper there. We're going to go and join David now from DICE. Just one last time, actually, for the weekend. It's the last chance I've got to ask him some questions. So we're going to put him under the grill as if it wasn't hot enough in here already. How you doing?
It's kind of hot. Yeah, good. Yeah. That was a pretty epic match, actually.
Wasn't it? Yeah.
Very close.
Epsilon coming through against all the odds. And we've got I dare say, the perfect final from the regular season, because it was always Epsilon and Fnatic every single week in all of the cups. We get to the LAN finals, and it seems kind of right that we have those two fighting it out for the championship. So have you got a favourite? Do you think it's with Fnatic because they've been so dominant, or do you think
the last
Epsilon
match Fnatic played ridiculously dominant, right? So I don't know, it's hard. I've been talking to all of them, so...
All right, are you ready for these questions?
Yeah.
Ready?
Yeah.
Ready?
I hope so.
Have you got like a nice big
I'm holding
shield?
on to the table now for their life. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So what we've done is we've, thank you, by the way, for all of you that have sent in questions via Facebook and via Twitter through the hashtag on ESL1. Those questions have been closed for a little while now. But what we've done is we've grabbed a load of those questions. We couldn't answer them all because otherwise David would be here for about 3 days. But we've grabbed some of the more pertinent ones, some of the ones that I know that the players here have wanted answers to as well. And hopefully we can get answers from you. So first of all, first question is CTE. What feedback from the teams that we could see on CTE already?
To be honest, it's very spot on. Once we started the CTE, we had some of the guys here actually. I didn't know. I sat talking to a guy and he was like, I've been talking to this TIGGE guy. And I'm like, that's me. So a lot of their feedback we've gotten in. The first one is the camera shake from explosions. That's dampened. Yep. We're looking at the head flinching problem. We can lower that. We're looking at visual recoil, trying to fix that. So it's a lot of gameplay changes. And obviously, I mean, there's banned weapons here. Yeah. To me, that's not the greatest. Maybe we need to look at that, especially since most of those weapons are really high burst, really quick kills, actually kill you in a frame. And it's just not great on the receiving end. Sure. And it's very digital. It doesn't really make it a dynamic battlefield. Yeah. So we're looking at that as well, as a whole, because the whole netcode change really changes the game and how it plays.
Okay, so yeah, because I was going to say netcode has also been one of those changes that you've had already in CT.
Yeah, and the guys that have played it here, they seem to be liking it a lot. I mean, they need to play it more. We are giving them a server with the new Obliteration competitive mode, just to get their feedback against players with the same kind of ping and same kind of skill level, just to really get some proper feedback from
I'm kind of glad, before we move on, I'm glad that you brought up Obliteration. How is it right now? Where is it at, in your opinion?
I think it has potential. I mean, it needs a lot of tweaks. The basic game mode works pretty well. I think the layouts of some of the maps are really good. Some of the maps are really far apart. It was a test, more vehicle, heavy. I think that might have to change, or we just don't play those maps as often. But I think, for instance, the fact that when you carry a bomb, you're shown all the time, like in normal Obliteration, I think that might not work. We have to look at something. Maybe it takes every 10 seconds, or maybe it's based on distance to base to kind of force them to attack. Right. I don't know. And also, right now, you have to take the bases in order, A, B, C, and that might be too digital as well. It's easy to set up a defense. They brought up a really good point, though. If we change the smoke grenades to be quicker and be non-spottable through, that might actually solve that issue. So I'll go back to my friends over at the office in LA and see what would be their take on it.
Little Sweden in LA.
Yeah.
As we call it.
Not only Swedes. No. But there's a lot of Americans.
But I think we're calling it Little Sweden now because there are so many there. But yeah.
It's like Santa Monica.
Sweden Monica.
Yeah.
Okay. What balance issues have you already faced, and which ones have you solved?
Oh God, yeah. I mean, we have solved the grenade for sure. It's not really a balance issue, but it's just very, very, very annoying and makes grenades a little bit overpowered because it faces your aim too much. We're looking at suppression, especially now with the netcode, that people are more accurate and it's triggered very quickly. I don't know where we will end up, but we're looking at it. We'll probably make sure that PDWs don't trigger it this quickly because it's almost the same as an LMG, it seems. I don't have all the numbers.
Right,
don't put me on the spot on the numbers.
I mean, it's interesting that you say because you make the netcode better, you're victims of your own success then, because the netcode's better, then it causes other issues. Is that right?
But to be honest, I mean, looking at gameplay and balance is the next step. Once you have a stable game to tweak, you look at all of it and see, okay, how are people actually using our game? Because we might have the best intentions and we might think we know exactly how it will play, and often we're right in many ways, but in others we're not. So we need to reassess and just reevaluate, and now we can do it even quicker.
With CTE.
Yeah, and the final patch that we put out includes something that's way more tested and iteration 5 instead of 1.
Okay. It's not a question on here, but it was a question that was popularly asked by you guys, and it was Is ESL 1 Season 3 going to use obliteration? The actual answer right now is we don't know. It's a very cooperative kind of answer, really, because we're at ESL, we would love to use it if it's ready.
Yeah.
But we don't want to rush into something that maybe isn't ready, and then we don't have a good season. And I think you feel the same way, right?
Yeah, I do, because I mean, looking at these games, and it's like 1 kill here, 2 kills there. That means this game mode is really balanced for what it's playing at. I mean, there's issues with the game mode. It's hard to understand from a spectator standpoint unless you played it and you don't understand the spawn rules. But I think it's the spawn rules that make it balanced. So if we can get obliteration to that level, and by testing it with the real pros, sure, I would love to. And maybe it's a mix. Maybe it's like you can pick maps, you can pick modes. It's something we have to discuss.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely. We definitely need to talk about that before we go on. Next one is replays, demos, battle recorder.
Yeah, so battle recorder always comes up, obviously.
Always?
We have such a great video community. It's also very hard because, as you know, we don't release any servers either. So a battle recorder that's a standalone will probably never happen. Maybe there's a possibility to do a server side. You can join a server in a special mode to be able to replay. It's not something we are working on currently. It's something we always want to do, and looking forward, yes, I would love to keep on going. We already have the player, right? We have the spectator. So we have the groundwork made. So it's closer than it's ever been.
All right, well, talking about Spectator, next question is about Spectator. Spectator client updates, how much can we have and when? I.e. map overlays, drawing, telestrator stuff, any of that cool stuff, I guess. We're sort of spoiled in some ways by other games that have done it already.
Yeah,
but
they've done it good, though.
Yeah, none of them have done it maybe perfect, but there's lots of things in lots of games.
Yeah, there's a lot to take into consideration, and looking at others. I mean, we just need to see what's out there, see what we can do, and see how far we can take it. I know it's not the highest priority, because it is something that comes after we look at the full balance of the game and all that, of course. But seeing it here, there's so many small tweaks that, I'm itching to get on it, but it's all going to be prioritized against a bigger list of things.
Are they things like, you look at the scoreboard and maybe, because obviously we do the TV stuff, so we add stuff to the scoreboard.
Yeah, I know. And for instance, one thing that I have on my personal to-do list, just to check up how tricky it would be to do, is to have you be able to set the scores for a round.
Which we've talked about would be fabulous.
Because, it seems to be very simple. I think it is very simple. And it might be something we can just get out to the CT, test it out. It works great, next release.
Okay, I should explain to you, David and I spoke off air, tickets right now that are always 150 on both sides, whatever you start with. You start map 1 or second half of the first map, and we basically said, it'd be great if we could take the amount of tickets that they lost by and deduct them from 150 or add them to the other team, and then at home straight away, without any extra graphics or anything, exactly what number they've got to go for. So do the players as well. So hopefully that's a cool thing that's come out of this weekend, and that we can fix fairly easily.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, it should be. Yeah. I won't promise anything.
No. I'm not going to hold you to that. But, the last question is, and this is an eSports style question. Pause function.
Where we are, so why not?
Pause function.
Pause function. We actually looked at the pause function for this mode. I don't have the latest on it, but we had a version that was kind of working.
Really?
Needs a lot of testing. Might be something that doesn't go out in the first release of this game mode, for instance. We want to find a solution that would work, on all game modes, or at least the game modes where we would implement it, and it's not the biggest implementation. Because the scariest thing with changing a game mode is that there's so many small pieces, and you mess it up, you mess up the whole public game.
I mean, I guess from a layman's point of view, adding a pause function seems like that should be really easy, but it's not as straightforward.
No,
and what considerations have you got when you think about, are you thinking, well, have they got an admin on the server? Does he do it? How does it do it if one of the players wants to pause? Does it take voting systems?
Yeah, I mean,
There's
we have
lots
to
of
look
things,
at other games here too, right? I mean, some games allow the players just press pause, and that triggers it, and they have 3 pauses per game or something like that. And the admin unpauses, and there's a little counter, and you can take it a far away. We're just looking at the core functionality that you can actually pause it from the server or client. It doesn't really matter at this point. We just need to prove the functionality and that it works. And our issues is we have destruction, we have flying real bullets and projectiles that would have to be paused mid-air if they are mid-air. Health states when you have a healing thing under your feet, all that kind of stuff. So we basically need to pause the server without having the server go bonkers when we unpause it. And that's the tricky part, because everything is, it's streaming stuff, and so we're looking at it.
That's great.
I hope it will end up working.
Okay. I've got a cheeky last question. It's the hardest one of the lot. Fnatic or Epsilon?
that's so hard. I mean, I'm always rooting for the underdogs. I guess I have to say Epsilon then.
Okay, all right, okay. So you heard it here.
I like you too,
first.
Fnatic.
All right. Yeah, you see, he's trying to be nice to everyone. He actually is very nice to everyone. Thank you so much for being here this weekend. Seriously, it has been a real treat for us.
It's been really fun.
It's been a real treat for the players, I know as well. And I've watched you sparring with the players as well. They've been giving you a terribly hard time, and I'm sorry for that. But
it's fine.
I guess that you've definitely had a baptism of fire in terms of, the amount of information you wanted, and I know how keen you guys are to bring the game onto the next level for esports. So we've loved having you here. It's been great. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, that is it in terms of David being here. He's going to stay around and watch the final, of course, but ladies and gentlemen, we are moments away from the grand final and crowning our second ever champion in ESL 1. Don't go too far away. It's the dream final, some may say. It's Fnatic versus Epsilon.